A very special recognition for Rob Burrow, his wife Lindsay and their friend Kevin Sinfield at the Pride of Britain Awards for raising millions of pounds for research into MND.
It can be a very dark and lonely place at times, but Lindsay always makes me feel like we are carrying on in the most normal way as we possibly can.
Good morning. Should water bosses be banned from receiving bonuses if their firms fail to crack down on sewage spills? Labour thinks so and says it would give the watchdog the power to block them if those companies underperform.
In sport this morning, British gymnast Jake Jarman leaps into the history books as the 21-year-old pulls off the vault of his life to win Great Britain's first ever world title in the event.
Labour's party conference begins in Liverpool with a speech from Deputy Leader Angela Rayner, who says they would create the biggest increase in affordable housing in a generation if they win the next general election. On Monday, the Shadow Chancellor, Rachel Reeves, is expected to announce an anti-corruption commissioner to look at money lost to fraud and waste during the COVID pandemic. Parts of Scotland remain at risk of flooding despite the rain easing off. River levels are continuing to rise and the ground is saturated, which is what's causing the increase in risk. A Met Office yellow warning of rain was in place until 7 p.m. on Sunday, and a further yellow warning has now been issued for parts of Western Scotland for Tuesday. The back of a historic building in Cumbria has collapsed into a river. The Grade 2 listed old Courthouse in Cockermouth, which sits on the River Cocker, was damaged at about 5 in the morning on Sunday morning.
This morning's paper show, we're going to start with the Mail. And the crisis in Israel and Gaza dominating all of the front pages. This paper focusing on some of the 100 hostages taken by Hamas militants.
The Times this morning is focusing on Israel gathering tanks on the border with Gaza, saying the country is going to war.
Meanwhile, the Mirror leads on a promise from Shadow Chancellor Rachel Reeves to boost the finances of ordinary families ahead of her speech to the Labour conference later today. We will be speaking to her this morning in the programme. So that's to think about, just about 7:30 this morning.
7:30, indeed. And we're getting towards, well, not quite the end of the Rugby World Cup. It's been going on for months, hasn't it? It feels like already.
Weeks. But
years
yeah.
In France. But here is a special moment from the weekend for this girl who was soaking up the atmosphere there.
Isn't that brilliant? On
her dad's shoulders after the Tonga-Romania match yesterday. Her dad is Fonovai Tangimana, who's born in Tonga but plays for Romania. So, yeah, tricky family situation, but she looks like she's getting through it.
Yeah, she's having a great time. And one of the good things about this Rugby World Cup is, of course, it's quite spaced out, but the families can go and spend time with them, and we do get to see lots of lovely images like this.
She's saying, how much longer does this competition go on?
Can we go home now?
Look then at what's dominating the front pages, and as you can imagine, the conflict, of course, between Gaza and Israel dominating. The Metro has powerful images from both sides in the conflicts between Israel and Gaza, and sums up the ferocity of the fighting with one word: merciless. Now, the Financial Times puts aside all money matters with their front page this morning, and Israel at war after deadly Hamas attack. And the Times too says Israel has been stunned into going to war with Gaza, while the Guardian has images of destruction from Tel Aviv and reports on the rising levels of deaths and violence. The Eye reports on fears for the 100 or so Israeli hostages taken by Hamas militants when they invaded. And the Mail there pictures some of them and calls them the pawn of merciless terrorists. And the Express carries Rishi Sunak's pledge that such terrorism can never be allowed to carry the day. While the Telegraph leads with the news that the US is sending warships and jets to Israel's assistance. And the Mirror has an exclusive with Shadow Chancellor Rachel Reeves at the party conference in Liverpool, telling hard-pressed families that she can be trusted to boost their spending power. And the Daily Star there rallies its readers to repel an invasion of bedbugs from France. And if you want to see any of those front pages again or read the stories, just scan the QR code, which is on your screen right now.